Happy Saturday. Welcome to the Paradigm Shift, episode 147. We're pumped. We got not one, but two unbelievable guests on today. Let's have some fun. Let us know how you're feeling on the chats. And let's get this party started. Vin, my brother, great to see you, pal. We're going to bring you on in less than five. Jay Ziegan's in the house. Susan, love you. Great to see you. Everybody's out today. This is going to be dynamite. Okay. Let's add Joe as a moderator. Let's bring on Big Dave, Eddie in the house, Alexandra. Let's get this party started. We got two great guests on, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. Where is my partner in crime, Big David? And I do how to reinvent yourself and get fired up for 2024 masterclass next Saturday. I've never done this. An hour free on a Saturday, a week from today. If you guys would like to find out or register, have access, totally free, how to reinvent yourself, text the number at the bottom of the screen, 917-634-3796, and I'll give you guys access. Adam, what's up, brother? I see you. We're going to bring you on in about 10 minutes, and personally, I can't wait. Where is Big Dave? Just in the house. There he is.
Good morning, brother.
What happened to you?
Sometimes you're hard to get in touch with. There's too much energy. So for some reason, it was not showing me you were live, and I was about to text you, which you had before. So I'm just, I don't know, too much energy from the birthday.
You know what? We have not one but two unbelievable guests on tonight, but I gotta tell you, you're aging like a fine wine, Dave. You look good. How was the birthday?
It was the best birthday ever, man. It's still going on. I got another family dinner tonight and going out with our good friends on Sunday night, and got some golf, some tennis, some walking, a lot of family stuff. So I am blessed. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm doing to interfere with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what happened. Are you a pickleball guy?
I have played pickleball. I prefer tennis. So I understand pickleball, and it's going to be one of the greatest participatory sports in our country and maybe even the world. Will not be, by the way, a competitive fan sport. You will never see it compete with the NFL. But as far as participatory sports, and with the social silos that exist today, and as a sports executive and marketer, I think it's important to make the distinction when people are trying to look at the differentiator between the major sports that are fan sports compared to participatory sports, because the business models are equally as valuable, but completely divergent from one another. And so when you're dealing with a participatory sport, the social silos are way more important than the amplified team sports, world famous soccer, football, etc.
You really are a sex goose. It's unbelievable. Before I ask you one question in A Course in Miracles, we continue our studies, and I bring on the voluptuous Vincent.
Yes.
Real quickly, are you going to indulge in some NFL playoffs this weekend, or not your thing?
Yeah, no, I use sports as a backdrop to business, backdrop to personal life. And so I use it as a backdrop. So, I'm not one of those people that is going to put up like Portnoy for a genius marketing move, $1 million on a playoff game with my teams that I like. I actually, check this out, Craig. Nick Lowry, who's a Hall of Fame kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs, as a birthday gift, invited me to the 50-yard line suite with Taylor Swift at the game today in Kansas City. But I would prefer, no offense to my man Nick or Taylor Swift, who I don't know, I would have loved to, instead of having to mortgage my house to buy a ticket to her concert, I would have much rather gone for free to her suite. But I'd much rather, beyond both of those, have dinner with my family to celebrate my birthday than walk around Taylor Swift and my man Nick Lowry sniffing jocks.
Understood. Also, I think it's supposed to be about -25 there.
Yeah, it is not positive to be negative, so I stay away from -25. I live in California.
And And what was the line that you gave me this week? 1% of light can overcome 99% of one particle of
One
light.
particle of light overcomes a million particles of darkness. Yeah, that's a great quote for the week.
Okay. I'll ask you a nougat. We're going to bring on Vin, and then we're going to bring on Adam. You ready
I'm
for
more
me?
than ready,
Okay.
brother.
Whenever you are afraid, you are deceived. Your mind is not serving your soul.
Yeah, look, there's space, right? Everything has space. Even you are more space than you are particle, right? Material. And so if you understand that there's a competition between faith and fear for that space, and this is the expertise that Vin Infante gives us, is that he helps people to fulfill that space with faith, not with fear. And so in the practice of identifying fear and the reaction to fear, we can transpose the competition between fear and faith and fill our space with faith. It's actually congruent with what you're discussing before, why one particle of light, one particle of faith is worth more than a million particles of fear. Because fear, and we see it here sometimes, some a-holes have to project their insecurities in fear, that, capital letters, all the negativity that they put into the comments about my man C-Rock. What I'm talking about is one little particle of light from Craig Siegel overcomes a million of those bolded capital letters, because you know what? Fear, it's loud. Like those comments, they're loud. Nobody remembers all these nice comments about, hey, Craig Siegel's a master, he's a great coach, he looks amazing, I want to sleep with Craig every time I see him. You don't see any of those comments. All you see is the a-holes out there that are loud. But let me tell you this about fear and filling space and competing against the faith. Fear is loud, but it's weak. And guess what? Faith will kick its ass every effing time, because one particle of faith is worth a million particles of fear. It's a competition for the space that you hold. So make sure that you're full of what? Faith. And let's dissipate, dissolve, and disappear the fear.
You're on fire. I love you.
Because Ben
Vin.
Infante's here, baby. He is an elevated
Yes,
soul.
he is. Vin, what's up, brother? Thank you for joining us. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I feel like I walked on a very romantic speech right there, but I feel invited into it, so I'm okay with it. But I love it.
The romance does get a little weird, but I think you'll fit right in.
That's why he unbuttons his shirt for me. Every time I see him with someone else, his shirt's completely buttoned, but he does that for me.
It's so true. Vin, first of all, it was great to see you in person maybe a couple of weeks back, and we're going to do another one soon. And for our audience that might not have been familiar, go give him a follow. Check out all the awesome stuff he's got going on. We're just going to dive right in. You ready to rock?
Let's do it, guys.
I saw you talking about something that I thought was a really cool and unique paradigm shift. You said something along the lines in your content of time doesn't heal all wounds. What heals wounds is owning it and accepting it and taking full accountability for a situation.
Yeah.
Then you can begin to heal. That was beautiful. Tell us exactly what you mean by that, because I think a lot of people just think maybe time heals.
Thanks. Yeah, I think that's something that's really important. A lot of the times, so as I've told you guys, I started out as a therapist. So I was working in the office in the space with the people who've been dealing with stuff for 15, 20 years. And I found it so interesting, right? Because we're also told throughout our life, time heals all wounds. But my curiosity was, why am I working with people in their 40s and 50s that are still struggling with things from when they were 10 or 12? If time truly healed all wounds, how are they holding on to this for 30 or 40 years? And some people might say, hey, it's trauma or this or that. But the biggest reality is that there's parts of it we don't accept. There's parts of it we don't want to understand. There's meaning we're not creating or shifting. And so when I started getting really curious about how do we actually heal the wounds, it came to that. It's, what haven't you owned or accepted in these moments? What is it that you don't want to find responsibility for? What is the meaning, the definition, the belief systems that you're holding that are keeping you stuck in this wavelength, this pattern, this emotional pain that you just carry for such a long
Almost
period.
prison.
Exactly. So that's where I started to really learn this concept of, it's not the time, it's your capability to create and rearrange the situation to allow you to break free from it.
That's really beautiful, Dave. I know that resonates with you.
Of course it does. Everything that Vin Infante says resonates with me. And the reason it resonates with me is my love language is time. And so I study time every day, and I study within the context of Einstein physics, metaphysics, quantum physics, which are theoretical physics, and applied mathematics. And so where people get confused about time healing all wounds is what they're actually saying is that if we use time as a dependent variable to see the progress of the healing, you see, in the abyss of progress, in the theoretical of the physics that I study, in the realm of understanding of giving meaning to that trauma, to the interference that we create between us and our potential of I am versus where I think I am or what other people think I am, is time. And the only way to shorten the time between the behaviors that we have and the outcomes results that we want is a distance of resistance. And so time does not heal all wounds. Time is the quantitative factor or the dependent variable in which we can heal the wounds by understanding the resistance that is created by the behaviors that we have and the repetitive behaviors that we have. And so there's two things that heal all wounds. Number one, wisdom. See, when we go seek help from Craig Siegel or from Vin Infante, when we go seek the wisdom from the people that sit in a situation that we want to be in, when we seek that wisdom, it's going to shorten the amount of time so you're not 40, 50, or 60 carrying the same repetitive baggage and interference, accelerating in the wrong direction in a zero-sum game, creating more voids, shortages, and obstacles in your life. So what I want you to do in order to shorten the distance of resistance is to have a behavior and realize that one of the things that will shorten the amount of time and shorten the distance is wisdom. And the fastest and easiest way to get that wisdom is to find someone with it and ask them for help and then help somebody else with the wisdom that you have by sharing that. And then the second thing is what we talked about earlier. It's faith. Understanding that our faith says that the behaviors that are necessary to shorten the distance of resistance, the faith that's necessary is one that the behavior of today is not going to create the outcomes I want today. The outcomes that I see today are from the behaviors, from the meaning I give my past and a trajectory of where I want to be to the future. And so if I have the faith that good behavior creates good progress, bad behavior creates bad progress, humility is actually asking for help as well as giving help, then I can utilize wisdom and faith to shorten the distance of resistance and actually utilize time as a utility or a tool in order to effectuate healing. Time does not heal all wounds. It's the quantitative element of how we heal wounds with wisdom and faith.
Can I just say that aside from all the unbelievable content that you just served us with, your tonality, second to none. Unbelievable.
Someone called me on my birthday on the 11th, and I want to thank both of you for the beautiful messages that you gave me. Someone said, dude, you are the Dr. Seuss of inspiration.
That's actually a great one. That's a great one. That's awesome. Very fitting.
I took it as a huge compliment.
Of course. Dr. Seuss is very wise. And I just want to
awesome.
I want to add to that because it took me 35 years to reinvent myself. And the key element of how I was able to shift and choose a different narrative was, for the first time, instead of sitting in the suck, I decided to just forgive myself and accept the fact that I wasn't where I'd hoped I'd been. Doesn't mean I had to approve it, right? But I accepted it. I took ownership for it. And as soon as I did that, it was like I was liberated and I was set free. And I was then able to connect and draw upon the divine inspiration to choose my path, which I'm doing now, or maybe the path chose me. But it's interesting because when you're able to apply what both of you are speaking about, but specifically Vin, now all of a sudden the time to overcome pain and trauma can actually be very short, because you could say that was a bonehead move. Let me own that. Let me figure out what I learned and then move on. Right, Vin?
Yeah, that's the biggest truth in all of this, right? Like I like to tell people, I still to this day, because I'm not old enough yet, but I still to this day have lived longer as a victim than I have as somebody who lived in power. It took me until I was about 23 to start reinventing myself. And it really started with, do you like who you are right now? I think not enough people have honest conversation with themselves in the mirror. And that was my life-changing moment, my ability to look at myself in the mirror and say, who are you? And all of these things that I didn't like about myself, I had to just own and be honest, which also perpetuated the victim mentality, right? Because as you continue to give away your power and you start saying, well, you know, I'm unhappy because this kid is bullying me, or my past wasn't that great, or my brother did this, my mom and dad. And none of that actually matters. What that is it's giving away your power. You're giving your emotional, your mental, your spiritual, all of these aspects of you, you're giving them to other people. So how can you ever start creating a new version of yourself if you don't have dichotomy and ownership of the self?
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and I kind of shift that paradigm. You can't give away what you don't have. So I believe that what we have is omniscient power. We live and exist in a unified, infinite system. And so I prefer to look at a paradigm of what am I doing to interfere with it? Am I allowing someone else to interfere with my power of I am? Am I allowing someone to interfere with the feelings that I should have, with the beliefs, with the actions, with the words that are aligned with where I want to be or better? And so I think it's important, regardless of whether you believe in what Vin says, that we give away power, or that you live in an infinite unified system of power and you interfere with an unbelievable amount of power. Uh, Either way, we have to be aware of the people and ideas that we surround ourselves with, the frequency in the neighborhood in which we live, and whether it's people, places, things, ideas, whatever it may be. We need to use a 3-axis analysis of, one, what feeds us compared to what bleeds us. If in accordance to the feeding and bleeding, what is the relativity of that person in our lives? And then the third axis is association. At what level am I going to associate with that person according to the feeding and bleeding and the relativity of my life? How am I going to associate that with what? The meaning that I give it according to what? The faith that I have. And so understanding the 3 axes of this unbelievable amount of power that will light up that city right behind Craig. You got enough power just in your pinky to light that sucker up. If you're not lighting up that city behind you, then you're interfering with it. And so go ahead and look at the axes of feeding and bleeding, of relativity and association, and figure out your personal formula by what you want personally, experientially, giving and receiving wise. And that will get you in an aggregate into an acceleration and provide you exponentiality in the results that you want in your life.
It's unbelievable. A couple quick things. I'm going to bring on Adam. Vin, I hope you can hang out for 10 minutes.
Yep.
And
12.
so I'm about to be the 4th most handsome cat on this live. And real quickly, Dave, I wanted to ask you a personal question. Did you have coffee this morning or no?
Drink caffeine. I just have great clarity over the last 72 hours. I had an unbelievable mastermind at CES. I had 23 interviews, and all the greats from Will.i.am to Dane Cook to just extraordinary. We had Branson. It was ridiculous what we did. And then I am inspired by Aspire with, of course, Tim Story and I spent a lot of time together. Fleischman and Fenster, my boys were there, given both the mentee and the mentorship. But Gary Vee and I had a great time together, and Joe Montana, hadn't seen him in years. So if I seem a little bit pepped up this morning, it's because the last 72 hours, besides my birthday, I've been around some of the greatest, most elevated, energetic people, and Adam is one of those who's going to just join the force, walking in the gym today. What's going on, man?
How you doing, brother?
What's up, fam? It's good. It's a pleasure to be here. Sending love from Tulum. I want to be out in the jungle
Yeah.
for this one.
Oh, that's good.
And I was really appreciating. I was really appreciating the conversation, and especially David. I love how you give 3D frameworks to 5D concepts. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
What a great analogy. Thank you, brother.
Yeah. Beautifully said. We're going to jump right in for our audience. Obviously, go check out all the awesome stuff Adam has going on. We're going to switch gears for a second. One of the many cool things that you talk about, Adam, is the difference between the masculine and the feminine energy. It's something that I've really studied over the last year and a half, and I have a pretty good idea, but you're definitely further ahead. Can you explain to us the difference and how people can tap in for different reasons between the masculine and the feminine?
All right. Yeah. So for me, masculine and feminine, I'm going to use those words because that's how I relate to it, but we can use alpha, omega, yin, yang, and whatever variations of that energy that feel resonant for people listening. But this is the way that I explain it. The entirety of our reality is actually able to be broken down into a binary code. In masculine, feminine energies. And so right now, everyone who's watching this and listening to this, you're seeing a screen and you're interfacing with the imagery, the meaning, the feeling of that screen. And that's true. Underneath this screen is binary code. There's zeros and ones, which is also true. And the same is true about reality itself. This is actually the imagery. This is the iOS. This is the thing that most people are interfacing with, but are entirely limited by because they haven't yet seen the code underneath it. And the code underneath that is binary, zeros and ones, circles and lines. I have this tattoo, sacred geometry. You'll find it anywhere in Tulum, trust me. But you got this sacred geometry, and you start with the circles. The circles are the void. The circle is that feminine. The circle is pure potentiality, absolute chaos, no structure, but full potential. And as soon as you add lines and you start connecting the middles of those circles, the intersects of those circles, you form literally just in this tiny bit, you form every plutonic solid, and every plutonic solid now builds up the entirety of the chemical structures needed to create all of reality. So just from circles and lines, zeros and ones, feminine and masculine energy, you create all of reality birthed out of that. And so I'm going to stop there and let you respond, but that's at least the initial starting point of why it's important for people to develop a real understanding and relationship to the alpha and omega energies on this planet. Because when you're not just dealing with the imagery and you're dealing with the code, you can actually write your reality at a deeper level that will impact everything.
We're all over the map today, huh, Dave? This is great.
Yeah, well, I think it's important to know how we write that reality, because Adam is exactly right in setting the stage of your reality. And so if we look at how in a meaningless world that's created by a code that has no meaning, but yet is infinite in its nature, what controls that reality? And the control of that reality is what we do, say, think, feel, and believe. In other words, the meaning that we give it. And if we understand the yin and the yang, the alpha and omega, the masculine and the feminine, then we can realize at what level in that spectrum are we going to give meaning to what we see. And in that context, I think it's important for the power of co-creation that within the context of setting that stage with binary code, that the person who gives it its meaning is only you. And what's happening today that I most want to help change is to empower people in the idea of giving and receiving. And it's one of the greatest and strongest yin and yangs that exist, but they're actually the same. And what I mean by that is the idea that the more I give, the more I am given is different. The more I give, the more I receive. Because what's happening is people don't understand the power that they have in co-creation to give meaning to what they have or see. And in other words, if you look at things as the more I give, the more I'm given, I need to practice receiving. That's why so many people live in this zero sum, a one-sided world where they feel as if I'm giving, but you actually are given more back. You just don't know how to receive it because you're trying to allow the ego to give meaning to the binary code, to the stage that's set through this reality. And instead, if you can apply what you do, say, think, feel, and believe to that actual stage, and give it the meaning that you want in a trajectory of where you want to be, then you're going to end up where you want to be or better, once again, with wisdom and faith, and looking for people like Adam that give us that wisdom and explain the faith side of it in a real mathematical, metaphysical way. Super blown away, my brother. And we definitely have to have a deeper discussion before I go way over everybody's head.
Well, one thing that I'll say to this, and I want to bring it back, because while this may be a very high level in terms of sort of the esoterics and alchemy of what we're discussing, where I want to ground it into something practical for people and what I found to be true for myself and how I approach my clients and my community with how do we evolve is through creativity. Because the vast majority of your thoughts, right? We say up to like 95% of your thoughts on any given day you've had before. And so it's a very small percentage of what you're actually thinking that is entirely new thought. However, the process of having a new thought is a process of putting together new patterns in reality. You see new patterns, you have new thoughts. And the process of creativity is simply the process of putting together patterns that you've never put together before. When I write a poem, what I'm doing is putting together patterns of words that I've never put together before. Someone's writing music. They're just putting together patterns of sounds that they have not put together before. And so what happens in that experience is that we get better at the skill of pattern recognition and pattern making. And so creativity, when you step into that microcosm of I'm going to write a poem or I'm going to write some music, what you're actually doing is improving your skill of pattern recognition and pattern making. And that's the same as personal development. Personal development is what are the patterns of what I've felt and thought and experienced in my life. And when I put those together in new ways where I have an aha moment, I say I've had an expansion of consciousness that can completely change how I view all of reality. And just developing that skill. So if there's one thing that I want this to land for people, it's that you don't even have to understand what we're talking about. But if you can intentionally bring creativity into your life, you will get better at seeing more potential for where your life can go. And that potential is going to open up every door to everything that you've ever imagined, because the edges of your imagination are the edges of your manifestation.
I got to add one thing. If you are not intentional with this skill of co-creation, the natural biochemical and bioanatomical reaction to life is ego, and it will edge the growth out of your life, the gold, the greatness and God out of your life, because the greatest pattern that we have is our reaction to fear. And so what happens is 80% of our subconscious thoughts are fear-based reactions, which means they're negative thoughts. They're actually interfering with the creation that we have been empowered with. So the skill of pattern recognition is important, not only to create patterns that we want, but to replace the patterns that are created by genetic and energetic inheritance that fear over millions of lifetimes or this lifetime, depending on what you believe, have created within your conscious, subconscious, and your quantum being. And so the skill of seeing clues to determine patterns is one which can accelerate this amazing opportunity we've been given. We are guaranteed 24 hours a day, every single day of our life, except for the last day. So what a blessing that is. You're guaranteed 24 hours a day, every single day, except for the last day. Use it.
Yeah, this is unbelievable. And also, Adam, something I relate to very much. Like the more that you can connect and tap into your creativity, that's where you're able to draw upon those divine inspiration, those ideas that change everything. And you've designed your business around being expansive and utilizing your soul. It's contributed to the growth of you as a human, and ultimately, that actually creates a byproduct of making more money as well. I know there's so many people that watch us and listen to us that are entrepreneurs that want to do stuff that are heart-centered. How were you able to facilitate designing a business around what really expands you?
That's a really great question, and I'll do a shameless plug that I'm actually doing a free masterclass this month called Brand Building for Creatives, because so this is heavily on my mind, and I've really reverse engineered it, but it comes down to, for me, a 4-step process, and this is where I think most modern day business coaches and programs are missing the mark, which is they start with how do you share, meaning how do you like optimize your content for the algorithm and get things out there that have hooks and whatever, and then how do you monetize what you're sharing. But they miss what I think is the starting point, which is live it. You live it, then you share it, then you monetize it, and then you refine that process, and you refine it and you improve it. But the live it is so key, because what happens is I never have to worry about being trapped by my business. I never have to worry about being a persona where I can't actually expand. Because what happens is some people get caught in what they've built around a persona, and they can't talk about the edges of their consciousness that they're exploring. And as a result, what they've built, and money is just energy, right? So they've built an energetic cage that they can't grow beyond. And so what's really important is when you're living it and you're sharing from a truly authentic place and you're building structures around the authenticity, then what ends up happening is as you expand and grow, your business is actually supporting you energetically in your expansion, financially rewarding you for the more that you expand, because you're now just bringing even more value. There's a wider range of what you can bring to the audience. And in that, you've created a toroidal, mutually beneficial relationship between you and your business, which is an egregore. So it literally has its own consciousness, whatever you're building. And so I think that at an energetic level, it seems where this conversation is going. Maybe it's just David's consciousness that's in here, like throwing it all around. But to me, that's the energetics that need to be in place. And it also is, the last thing I'll say about that is, it's also the reason why people don't do it is because it forces you to face your greatest fears of being rejected, of not being good enough, of all of those things, because to live in that authenticity first and foremost, and then share from that place, will require you to face those really deep fears. But that's the only way that your business can truly keep expanding you, is because the only way out is through. We must move through those fears in order to expand. And so you want your business to bring up those fears.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's almost like a flashlight, like, go here. This is awesome. David, you want to say something real quick? You want to
Yeah,
land the plane?
just to understand energy to help out some people. Remember the three characteristics of it, whether it's money, behaviors, people, ideas, they're all energetic in their nature. And when you have the ones that are aligned with where you want to be or better in the wisdom and faith that you want, not only will it shorten that distance of resistance, but more importantly, it'll aggregate more of the same energy. It will accelerate, as I mentioned before. But one of the things that I love in applied mathematics and theoretical physics is it actually creates exponentiality. And so it's not one turns to two, turns to three, turns to four. It's one turns to two, four turns to eight, eight turns to 16. And that's when you start realizing that we have extraordinary infinite productivity, accessibility, and gratitude in our lives. So if you want to study energy and realize everything's energy, it could be a great benefit to where you want to be, to identify the energetic cages, but even more important, to identify the characteristics of it so we can utilize it to be in abundance, to really understand the infinite unified system that's been created around us with ones and zeros, alphas and omegas, and yins and yangs. And there's nobody better to teach you than Adam. So I just want to do a shameless plug. If you don't go to his masterclass, you're an idiot. And I mean that in the most positive way.
I love
Yes.
that.
No,
I
I
wanted to
appreciate
say,
that.
yeah, guys, this was unbelievable. Thank you all of you guys for joining us on Saturday. We're gonna put all that stuff in the notes to go check out your masterclass, Adam. We'll check out the awesome stuff Vin has going on as well. Obviously, Big Dave, and just want to say thank you, all of you, for your resonance. It was a beautiful conversation. I'm better for it. Hope you guys have a great weekend.
I'll come see you in Tulum. It's beautiful. I love jealous. Thank you guys.
Bye,
Yeah,
guys.
much love, fam.
You're
Right on.
That
Bye,
was all.
Craigie Poo.
Bye, Big Dave. Love you guys. Take care.
welcome.
Uh, Episode 147 in the books, guys. We'll be back next week. That was incredible. That was a short 33-minute masterclass on how to heal, forgiveness, energy, masculine and feminine, creating a business, creativity, all of it. That was really, really, really special. Check out all the unbelievable stuff Adam has going on. We'll put that in the notes. Vin as well. And obviously, Big Dave, thank you so much for all that you do. If you guys want to check out a free How to Reinvent Yourself masterclass, we're also hosting that for the first time a week from today, actually, 11 a.m. on next Saturday. All you got to do is text me below, and I'll shoot you the link totally free. Check all the stuff they have going on. That was incredible. Hope you guys have an unbelievable weekend. What do you guys got going on this weekend? Anything good? Let me know in the comments. Okay. You guys got some big plans. I absolutely love it. Let's think big, guys. Let's utilize the energy. Let's tap into our creativity. Let's really connect, because if you want to go higher, you have to go deeper. And when you're able to connect to that, you're able to draw upon a lot of the divine inspiration that Adam was talking about. That's really, really special, because those are the ideas that help you tap into all of your potential, your capacity, all of that stuff. So that's really, really, really key. And Vin, guys, is a stud as well. And obviously, Uncle Dave. This was really special, guys. Hope you had as much fun as I did. If you like free inspirational nuggets during the week, you can text the number at the bottom of the screen, totally free, 917-634-3796. Let's just have an unbelievable weekend, yes? Let's do some great stuff. Let's play big. Let's tap into our energy. Let's utilize the laws of the universe, the systems, the technologies, and so forth. Let's do some great stuff, guys. And unapologetically make a lot of money, too. Love you guys. Have an unbelievable weekend. You dig?